What's up, it's Cinnamon Shogun here, and as you all know, we have been talking a lot about Bryan Kohberger right here on this channel and over on my second channel, Fat and Opinionated. And we've dived deep into his education. We all know that he was going to Washington State University. He was studying criminology. But while Bryan Kohberger is dominating the headlines, and while his education has been picked apart by me and other YouTubers and other newscasters or what have you, it turns out there's another story going on at Washington State University that seems to kind of be flying under the radar. While Bryan Kohberger dominates the headlines, this story, not so much. And it turns out that another student at Washington State University was recently found dead in a dorm room. If my memory serves me correctly, this happened on January 22nd. And it's a really weird story because at least some of the students at this school believe that there may be some foul play involved. In fact, they're blaming the fraternity that this kid was in. They're saying that this was a hazing gone wrong. And we've heard stories about this before. Sororities are fraternities that take things too far, and then a student winds up dead. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that fraternities and sororities can be a good thing. Often you form connections there that will take you far in life. And I know kids these days are getting soft. They can't really handle the type of things that we went through. But when you get to the point that you have students popping up dead because of fraternity hazings and sorority hazings, that's when you know it has gone too far. Now, to be clear here, don't go to attack anyone that's involved in this story. Don't go and try to track down these fraternity members and target them with harassment and all that stuff, because we do not know what exactly happened here yet. All I know is that this young student popped up dead. He was found dead in this dorm room. I don't want to say that the school is being quiet about it, but they're being quiet about it. And that's kind of like because of protocols, but at the same time, I don't know, it's kind of weird, when you see people who are kind of hush-mouthed about situations like this. And there's petitions going on around the school claiming that the fraternity is involved with this, that we're going to go through all of those details in just a second, but it's a really weird story. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it so we can all have a better understanding of what exactly is happening here. A freshman fraternity member at Washington State University has been found dead in a dorm room amid claims he suffered inhumane and cruel hazing. Police responded on January 22nd to Perham Hall on the Pullman campus, where they discovered Luke Morgan Tyler dead. WSU Assistant Police Chief Don Daniels told campus newspaper The Daily Evergreen that investigators were awaiting the Whitman County coroner's autopsy to determine the cause of death, but that there were no indications of foul play. Tyler was a member of the Theta Chi fraternity. His friend Emily Frosting told the spokesman reporter. I want to pause right there. That's why I say it's important for us to wait here. The autopsy report hasn't come back yet. Now, there's a large number of students on this campus claiming that something shady went down here. The school is saying they can't talk about it. And this investigator, the chief of the assistant chief of police at Washington State University, he's saying there's no signs of foul play and that they're just waiting on the autopsy report. So before we point the fingers at anyone, I think it's responsible to wait for that report to come in. But let's go ahead and get back into the information. Tyler was a member of the Theta Chi fraternity. An online petition organized by a group of Tyler's friends called for the fraternity to be investigated. His death directly followed a long and cruel pledging process allowed by his fraternity, Theta Chi. Their inhumane and cruel hazing forced Luke and many others to do things nobody should ever do, the petition says. We demand that Theta Chi be investigated, shut down, and the fraternity's president, as well as pledge masters and others with power in the fraternity, be investigated for their involvement with the death of Luke Tyler. Aaron Lashner, assistant director for the Center for Fraternity and Sorority Life, wrote in an email to the Greek community that these situations evoke a variety of emotions: sadness, confusion, fear, and anger. She added, "We know that in these circumstances it's hard to make sense of what has happened. All of us want to help, and we can feel lost on how to do so. The WSU and Fraternity Council, which oversees the fraternal groups at the school, declined to comment." WSU spokesman Phil Weiler said, "There has been a significant amount of conjecture regarding the circumstances surrounding this incident and the actual cause of the student's passing. I would caution the public against speculation at this point in the investigation. The facts in this case are still being gathered. It could be several weeks before the coroner's office determines the cause and manner of death. We want to ensure that the investigation can proceed unimpeded." In a statement, WSU Chancellor Elizabeth Chilton said she was heartbroken over the student death that occurred in a residence hall on our campus over the weekend. "The loss of a member of our Cougar family creates a tremendous loss for all of us, and I want to extend my deepest condolences to the student's family, friends, classmates, and fellow Cougs." Chilton said the school has a strict protocol to follow with procedures that were put in place out of respect for both the families and the investigative process. She added, "WSU Pullman will not release any information about the individual until details have been coordinated with the family and the Whitman County Coroner's Office. We will also maintain a high level of respect for both the families and the investigative process and will not disclose any information that could inadvertently disrupt this process." A GoFundMe campaign for Tyler's family has raised over $11,000. Every person who came across Luke would say that he was one of the most sincere and kind individuals they have ever met. We want to ensure that his name is not forgotten and to assist his family in these impossible trying times, the account says. Tyler's death occurred about 10 miles away from where Kohberger, a former criminology PhD student at WSU, allegedly unalived 4 University of Idaho students. So who knows? I mean, it's a small world. Luke could have very well have known Kohberger or have run across Kohberger. But let me just start by saying this. I hope the young people at WSU are able to focus on their education, focus on their studies, and focus on their future. And I hope they aren't too far sidetracked by all of this crazy stuff that is transpiring around them. You know, not too long ago, they had to find out that they walked, among the midst of a crazy person like Bryan Kohberger, knowing that some of you all went to the same classes. Maybe you lived by him, walked by him in the hallway and things like that. And then you had to find out that he was accused of all of this crazy stuff. And now they have another member of their community, another former classmate, friend, associate, and he has popped up dead mysteriously in a dorm room. No one seems to know what happened. Now I think we're all just waiting on the autopsy report. So I don't want to speculate too much. And like I said, I don't think it's appropriate to point fingers at anyone yet. But I will say this. Just because the chief of police said there's no signs of foul play, that doesn't mean that foul play isn't involved. Maybe part of the hazing process was making Luke or Tyler or whatever you want to call him, part of that process was making him drink too much. Maybe part of the hazing process was making him take some type of substance. Who knows? We are seeing people all across our country drop like flies because of fentanyl. And then we're seeing young people all around the world just suddenly die out of nowhere. Healthy young people are just dropping dead. I wonder why. But seriously, like, who knows what happened here? Maybe it's just something natural. Crazy things happen. The world has a mysterious way of working. You never know when your time is going to be your time. But at the very least, we do have a portion of people at this school that adamantly believe that something happened here to Luke. And like I always tell you, it's important to pay attention to the timing of things. And seeing as this happened during the pledging process, when the hazing is at an all-time high while trying to get into a fraternity and things like that, I think it's really weird. And then the school, of course, they're being hush-mouthed about it. Now, I know that's part of the protocol. I know they don't want to say too much because of his family, and they don't want to say too much because of the investigation. But when you have situations like this, and then you got students calling out that something shady is going on, and then you got the school being quiet, it's going to naturally make people wonder. It's going to naturally make people feel uncomfortable about the situation. I think there's a way that you can protect an investigation while also being a little more transparent about what's going on. And not that doesn't just go for this situation, but that goes for a lot of the situations and cases we cover. There's a way to be a little more transparent without, harming an investigation. And you already have these students at this school that were probably already on edge because of the Bryan Kohberger situation. I mean, it happened 10 miles away from their campus. So they were already on edge well before Kohberger got caught. And then when Kohberger got caught, they realized, damn, it's one of our fellow students. And now, a couple of weeks after that, we have a mysterious death on campus that some people seem to believe is a result of some type of hazing process, and the school refuses to talk about it. So who knows what happened here? I do think I think this is an interesting story. I would like to know the outcome of this. Like I said, the responsible thing to do right now is to just wait. But it kind of sucks. But for now, we wait. We find out what the cause of death is. We wait on the autopsy report to come in. And then we figure out, how to go about the story from there. But I'll be paying attention to the situation. When any updates come in, I will update you all. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.